Learning is one of the most important skills in the whole world, except there's a ton of misconceptions out there about it. In this video, I'm going to knock those down. I'm going to show you how it actually works, and I'm going to teach you how to do it better. Give me the next few minutes of your time, and I promise this is going to have an impact on your life. This is a good one. Let's go. Riding a bike, dancing, shooting a bow and arrow, dribbling a basketball, public speaking. These are all learned skills. But what are they, and where do they actually come from? We hear a lot about muscle memory and other phrases like natural gifts, or it's in her blood, or he was born to do whatever. Yeah, so those are all a bunch of crap. Learned skills are nothing more than connections and circuits in your brain. And the more you fire that circuit, the better you get at it. There's this awesome stuff called myelin that wraps the circuits that you use the most, allowing you to do whatever it is faster, better, and more accurately. Myelin production can be increased with deep practice. More on that later. Sure, there are absolutely some things that you're born with that can give you a head start in certain areas. We're talking height, body type, or whatever. But as far as specific skills are concerned, there are no gifts. There is no such thing as a 3-point shooting gene, a writing gene, a friendliness gene, or a dancing gene. Like for real, there's not. Let's take it back to Aristotle for some words of wisdom.
Whatever we learn to do, we learn by actually doing it. Men come to be builders, for instance, by building, and harp players by playing the harp. In the same way, by doing just acts, we come to be just. By doing self-controlled acts, we come to be self-controlled. And by doing brave acts, we become brave.
So people who are better than you at writing, singing, speaking, playing the trumpet, playing ping pong, handstand walking, are better because they have done it more than you and developed more myelin around those circuits than you have. This reality can be a little unsettling for some of us because we lose our excuses. So you're not a math person. You just choose not to be a math person. And no, you don't have 2 left feet. You just haven't danced enough. On the plus side, if we understand how this works, we can truly get better at just about anything that we invest the time and effort into. Let's jump back a few thousand years and take a closer look at the brain to see exactly how all of this works. You see this outer part of the brain? I think the scientific term for it is actually learning machine. Pretty sure it's Latin or something. This is what makes us human and the reason we've been around for so long and continue to flourish and grow. It's seriously built to learn and get good at the things we do the most urgently, and that are the hardest. From an evolutionary standpoint, this makes total sense. Way back in the day, I'm talking caveman times, if we did something a lot that was hard and a little bit outside of our current abilities, we were basically saying to our brain, hey yo, this is probably important and will help us survive. We should get good at this. And the brain was all like, sure, I got this stuff called myelin. Let me go ahead and wrap those circuits with it so every time we do it, we can get better at it. So rather than being pre-wired to be good at certain things, our brains were designed to learn what we do the most. This is how we got good at hunting, building things, and moving up the food chain. Good job, brains, and thank you, myelin. Times have changed, but our brains have not. Learning and getting good at things isn't the key to survival. Like, we're not going to starve if we don't know how to hunt. But it's still pretty damn important, and understanding how the brain works can help us do it better. The real key here is to find the learning sweet spot that primes the brain to produce myelin. Some people call this deep practice, other people deliberate practice, some cats even call it training ugly. No matter the name, the formula is pretty straightforward. First, believe that you can learn. This is all about having a growth mindset. Be engaged. Stretch outside of your comfort zone. Do it a lot. Make a lot of mistakes and do it more. This is all well and good and should be common knowledge. It's backed by decades of science. If you read any book about skill or talent development, they're going to give you a similar formula. But there's a small problem. There are only two major groups of people that have this whole learning thing down pat, and they make up only 10% of the population. These two groups are the babies and the butt kickers. The butt kickers, you know who I'm talking about. These are the people who just seem to kill it in every way possible. Pro tip, they're not killing it because of their genes. They simply understand how learning really works and know how to apply it to their situation. To get some insight, I tracked down one of the most prominent butt kickers of our time, Seth Godin.
Hi, my name is Seth Godin. I'm the author of 17 bestsellers. I've started a bunch of companies. I write a blog, but mostly I fail. I fail often, and I fail with relish because I understand that when I do something that might not work, I'm doing my best work. The people who are good at learning say, I like the feeling of not knowing yet. The same way the people who are good at skiing say, I like the feeling of being just a little bit out of control. That's how you get good at skiing, and that's how you get good at math. The difficulty comes from the fact that if you are not open to living with the tension of being stupid, you can't possibly learn it. I call it thirstiness. And if you are thirsty, it means that you are willing to feel stupid. You are willing to try. You are willing to expose yourself to the unknown in order to sate what your desires are to get to the next level.
So we have the babies and the butt kickers, learning like maniacs. And honestly, the rest of us could use some work. But why is this? There are hundreds of variables in play here, but to keep on track, we're going to stay focused on our brains. Let's head back into our brain because there's a battle going on in there that you need to know about. Okay, so you see this little almond-shaped thing in the middle of the brain? This thing can be a real stickler when it comes to learning. It's called the amygdala, but for now we're going to go ahead and call it the lizard brain.
You know, we're animals. Animals have been on the surface of the earth for millions of years. We evolved from animals because we still are animals. And the thing about wild animals is wild animals all have something in common with us. We have the brain of a wild animal. And the brain of a wild animal wants shelter, safety, revenge, reproduction. That's it. That's what makes it a wild animal. Well, as we evolved, we added this other brain, but then we wrapped it all around this amygdala, this brain back here. It's about the size of 2 almonds. And that part of our brain, the amygdala, is the brain of a wild animal. It is hot-wired to be afraid. It is hot-wired to seek safety. And it saved our lives when there were saber-toothed tigers, and it saved our lives when getting thrown out of the village meant that you were going to die in the jungle. But now it's left over, but it's still there.
Our lizard brains are built to live and survive the craziness that was hundreds of thousands of years ago, which leaves modern humans with a number of unfortunate traits, including an obsession with fitting in, avoiding change, and avoiding risks. So we're all here in 2014 with a persuasive and easily freaked out lizard brain who still thinks it's 50,000 BC. It's what makes you feel weird about going to a restaurant or movie alone. It's what makes you get married before you're ready to a person you're not in love with. It's what makes you resist challenging situations, fear mistakes, avoid risks, get nervous on first dates, feel a need to fit in, avoid leaving our comfort zones. It's what makes us hesitate about speaking up in class or interacting with our boss. This fear protected us back in the day, but from a learning standpoint, it's holding us back now. And if we really look closely at this, we see that the lizard brain's fears are totally irrational. Almost nothing you're socially scared of is actually scary or threatens you in any way. So here we are today with a war going on in our brains. Our curious, hungry to learn human brain versus our scared and protective lizard brain. Take a look around and it's obvious to see which one is winning. So are you thinking what I'm thinking? Let's figure out how to defeat and kill the lizard brain and become butt kickers. I asked our friend Seth exactly how to do this.
So I'm thrilled you asked the question that way, because that is exactly the wrong question. If you are seeking to destroy, defeat, conquer the lizard brain, you will fail. It cannot be done. Because when you try to fight the lizard brain, you are giving it more power. Your brain is nothing but a chemistry experiment. It's electricity and chemicals. And when you push back on the lizard brain, when you try to reason with the lizard brain, when you just say one more this or one more that or don't worry, it inflames and releases more chemicals. You cannot win. What you can do is dance with the lizard brain. What you can do is realize that the lizard brain is a compass. And then when it freaks out, it is telling you you are on to something. When it freaks out, it's telling you you're about to do something that's brave and bold.